In this lesson, you'll learn how to display and react to action bars. The developer's website has a very good page in the API guides on action bars, and it's shown here. You can check it out for additional detailed information. We're going to concentrate on action bar code in an API demos app. So in the demos worksheet, let's filter the demo name for action bar. And we find 4 entries. And let's look at the action bar mechanics demo on line 18, which has the Java name action bar mechanics. Let's fire it up in the emulator. We'll click on App, Action Bar Mechanics. An action bar is a standardized place to provide action options for the user, such as navigation, search, and activating tasks. And you see an action bar up here on the top of the app screen. So if we click on this share icon, we get a toast, selected item action button. And if we click on the drop-down menu, we see another item, called normal item, and we get a toast, normal item selected. Now let's look at the Java code, which we find in the app folder with the name action bar mechanics. It's right here. In the onCreate method for the activity in line 42, we use the request feature method to activate the action bar feature, designated here. Starting in line 46, we have the onCreate options menu method that sets up the action bar. In line 51, we use the menu add method to add an item that will always appear in the drop-down menu. See, it has the label normal item. So in the demo, when I click the drop-down, we see the normal item appear. In line 53, we declare a menu item and use the add method to add a button called action button. So in the demo, when I click the share button, we get the toast. In line 58, we use the set show as action method that sets the attribute show as action of room, so that the share action button will show up in the action bar if there's room. In line 63, we use the set icon method to set the share icon to be displayed for our action item button. It's designated here. And in line 69, we have the code that's executed when an action bar item is clicked. It overrides the onOptions item selected method and makes a toast using the title of the item retrieved, and it uses the getTitle method to find the title. And it's here that you'd add code to take actions based on the item selected. So that's the basics of setting up an action bar. It's not very complicated. Remember, the heavy lifting of displaying the action bar properly depending on the size and layout of the mobile device is done by the Android operating system. And let me make a point about the way we're going through not only this code on action bars, but how we'll be exploring the Android features in this and chapters and lessons coming up. First, by the very nature of object-oriented programming, you shouldn't have to understand all the underlying detail of how a given class or method accomplishes its result. So as I point out what classes and methods are used, I won't discuss every detail about them. The Android developer's website has a huge amount of documentation on classes and methods that you can use to dig into as far as you need to or want to. Now, sometimes a method won't work or won't work the way you think it should, so you'll have to dive into the details to figure it out. Sometimes you'll just be curious about the full scope of a class or method. With thousands of Android classes and methods in total, we don't have the time to address all the details, and you'd probably get quickly bored going through all that material anyway. In my opinion, Android is very much a learn-as-you-go technology. Each new app you develop will take you into new aspects of Android. In addition to explaining specific Android capabilities in this course, I'm also trying to give you the tools and knowledge you need to continue learning. Something like the old saying of teaching you how to fish instead of doing all the fishing for you. And there's just too many Android fish out there to do all that for you anyway. So that's our lesson on action bars, and let's continue with more user interface topics.